So December 13th, 2014, she was just outside of Natchitoches, and that's where I'd grown up, and where she, funnily enough, she had grown up as well. And we were sitting under the stars.
And so I was sitting down, we walked down to the water in the creek, and I was sitting down there, and I started singing the Phineas and Ferb theme song. Ups and downs we went through alongst this beautiful, ragged road. I note the painful, restless nights I endured in longing for more than your friendship. I rejoice in all of God's faithfulness. March 21st, 2020, the day I get to make you mine. Today, I stamp the seal of my love for you before God, pastor, and family. I get to tell you my vows and what I hold most. You are my beautiful bride, not only today, but forever. Show patience with me, and I promise to help you store up treasures in heaven. I promise to be your forever teammate. I just ask that you promise so in return. Love your future husband, Oliver Reese.
So surreal to know that starting today, a long time will turn into forever. I believe in the man of God that you are, and I see the intimacy with Christ that you have. This is what has given me the peace and desire to have you as my husband and my teammate. You remind me of the way Jesus loved those around him. He did not care what you looked like, if you were well or sick, what color or social status you were. He just simply saw people equal and loved them as they were, and this is what I see in you. I can't wait to see how handsome you are today. I'll meet you at the altar. Much love, Diana.
The most important thing in this world is for you to have a Christ-centered home and marriage. It will be the cornerstone of your shared ministry, a ministry to which you both are called to. It will be critical to your witness to those around you who do not know Jesus. And it will offer encouragement to other couples whose homes are not Christ-centered. Remember this, pray together, read the Bible together, guard your walk with Jesus, serve the Lord together, and serve each other selflessly. Oliver and Diana, today you have made a lifelong commitment to each other. It is my joy as a minister of Jesus to pronounce that from this day forward you are husband and wife. What the Lord has made inseparable, let no man separate. Oliver, you may now kiss your bride.
Hey guys, it's Holy Basil back with another video, and lately I've been thinking about marriage and how hard it is. Now don't get me wrong, there's lots of blessings about it, but there's a couple things that I wish I knew before I got married, because I was young and dumb at the age of 25. My wife and I have been married for 4.5 years. We dated for about 6 years on and off. 7 things that I wish that I knew before marriage. 1, talk about core values, specifically money, faith, where you live, your family. You need to address these things before you get married. It's not a deal breaker in the marriage, but it's going to be best that you get on the same page before you get married. My wife and I, when we have a fight, it's usually because I'm more on the conservative side of spending and she's more on the liberal side of spending. I knew this getting into the marriage, so it's not horrible, but it's better to know in advance what type of plans that you guys will make financially, whether y'all will be generous, whether y'all will have remarkable careers or spend more time at home to make a family. It will provide an orientation. Before we got married, I knew that my wife wanted children. I was okay with that. Some people, they don't discuss that. It's dangerous to assume anything. And in the aspect of children, you're gonna be disappointed if you don't want kids and then your spouse comes at you later saying that he or she wants kids, and the opposite. You're going to be quite let down if you want children and your spouse says, nope, I don't want kids. and that happens to a lot of couples. Faith. Now, you guys don't have to have the same exact beliefs, but why would you marry somebody with the opposite beliefs, or somebody that you didn't even know what their beliefs were? Now, I'm not saying that my wife and I have the strongest marriage. Far from the truth. But we have a very similar faith background. Things that I hold most important, she does too, in the aspect of Christianity. And so even though we disagree on a lot of things, for the most part, our core values line up. That's just gonna make marriage a little easier for you. It's already hard enough. 2, marriage is all about serving. Mark chapter 9, verse 34 says, "If anyone among you wants to be first, he must be last and servant of all." The serving never stops in marriage. And if you're a husband, you know this. Whether that's doing the laundry, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, mowing the yard, it never stops. And if you do it for thank yous and congratulations or rewards, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, because there's going to be a lot of times that you're not thanked, but you just have to do it. You have to serve with a humble heart. You have to do everything without complaining. Philippians 2, 14 through 15 talks about doing things without complaining. So it's also our heart behind it. You can spitefully do something, but it's not going to mean as much as if you do it with sincerity. 3, purity. Before I got married, I thought that purity in marriage was just not watching pornography or sleeping around. I couldn't be further from the truth. Hebrews 13 verse 4 says, "Marriage is to be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept undefiled, because God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterers." And if you note there it says kept undefiled, that means that you can defile the marriage bed. So it's important to have a pure heart, to not lust after other people, and to be content and satisfied, to be satisfied with the wife of your youth. 4, patience. As Corinthians says, love is patient. Be patient with your spouse. Your spouse is not your sibling, your spouse is not your parent, your spouse is not your child, so don't treat them as such. If they have weaknesses, wait on them, pray for them. Don't give up on them. We tend to be so much more patient with other people than our own spouses, and that's horrible because our own spouse is the person that we need to treat best. 5, seasons. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says, "There's an occasion for everything, and a time for every activity under heaven. A time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." And I know that in my marriage, we've been through seasons where it was just easy. It was easy to be friends. It was easy to be romantic. It was easy to laugh and to joke. And there were times in my marriage where my wife's grandfather died and she was sad. So it was not a season of happiness for us. It was a season of consoling on my part, and I had to be patient. I had to be uplifting and supportive. It wasn't fun, but I knew that there was a different season ahead, so that motivated me. Right now, we're in a season of waiting as we prepare for our firstborn, and I'm sure that we're about to be in a season of lack of sleep, a season of short tempers. But that's okay, because we know that there will be a season after that. Short-lived. 6, sacrifice. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son." True love requires sacrifice. In my marriage, I've had to sacrifice my time, my money, my own plans for what my wife sometimes desires. Does that mean I'm whipped? No, she sacrificed for me as well. But true love requires sacrifice. And when you get good at that, you'll be surprised at how good your marriage can become. 7, put God first. Matthew 6:24 says, "No one can serve 2 masters, since either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other." There have been times in my life where I've done nothing but to try to please my wife. And does she get happier? Sure. But I've neglected my relationship with God. But when I put God first, I have Jesus' attributes rub off on me. And because of that, I am gentle and kind and have all the fruits of the Spirit to give to my wife. And she's happier in return. Don't sow everything into your spouse, because if the moment that they don't give that back to you, then you're going to be disappointed. Your spouse will disappoint you, but God will never disappoint you. So why would you put your spouse above God? So, happy wife, happy life. Now, I don't think so, but it sure does help.